got several dudes at your service. Our origin story. So, the other lead guitarist when we started, Nick Stevens.
I'm pretty sure I got attached to the Dudes through Nick Stevens.
Dudes had formed when Jonas got to Emory Medical School, and he happened upon Nick Stevens, who had played in a rival band in Duke.
And we lived in different parts of campus. One on one side of the campus and one on the other side of the campus. And we were just great friends. And he was a year ahead of me. And I came to Atlanta, and a band that I had started in campus was still playing. I was going back to play in the fall. And I was just driving by the Emory University Law School, and I saw him.
They realized they were at the same school, Jonas at Emory Medical School, Nick at Emory Law School, and decided they had to get a band together.
I started law school with hair down to here, which was a little unusual, so I guess I gave off musician radar. We started talking. He was a guitar player. I was a drummer, and we just thought, man, it'd be nice to get something going. And he knew people from Duke, he knew Jonas from Duke, and one thing led to another.
And we wanted to have an original band, and that's how it started. And Nick's classmate in law school is our drummer, Kevin Green. And it's just amazing what an incredible musician he is, that he was in the law school. And through another law school friend, we found our first bass player, Devin Engel.
And one of their fellow law students had been a fraternity brother of mine, Dave Ladner, and he turned him on to me.
And the Dudes were born, man, and we became that gig where law students could meet med students, and it was magic.
So there was a Chinese menu in his hand. Walked through the streets and so cold with the rain. He was looking for a place called Nick Fox.
And there were, four of us back then, and Nick and Kevin were both at Emory Law School. Jonas was at Emory Medical School, and I was the lone undergrad. I was the baby of the band. But then ultimately the first to leave, because I went to law school and decided to go to law school in D.C. So I left the band and was replaced by the Dudester, Dave, who was a freshman at Emory.
So when I was a freshman at Emory University, I was on my freshman hall. All the mates on my hall, my freshman hall mates, found an advertisement that said, bassist wanted, no rookies. Which, of course, that's funny because I was seriously a rookie. But they had just lost Devin, who was a senior the year before. And so that's how I met him. Ended up auditioning for this band. Had my brother send down some kind of a crappy bass amp from Cleveland, Ohio.
And we were really fortunate to how things worked out, that one of the guitar legends from Atlanta, since the early 70s, started gigging with us. And wonderful guy, Barry Richmond.
A legend in Atlanta, Georgia. A big hand for Dude Man, Barry Richmond.
One of the things I've always loved about the band is that it feels like family, I played with other bands where the members maybe, they just show up at the gig, and when the gig's over, you don't see them. But with the Dudes, we all hang out together, eat and sleep together, and it's really a nice feeling to be in a band that everybody enjoys being with each other. It's really cool.
The band sort of went into suspended animation after I left Atlanta to go into training.
The Dudes played for a while pretty heavy when we were in law school and med school, and then we stopped, and the music sort of died.
And I really had lost touch with virtually everybody except Jonas here and there. And then in
2013, I'm in Asheville, North Carolina, and I was with some cousins. We were at a very famous local pub called The Wicked Weed, and I turn around and I see Nick. And we talked about, we got to get the band back together. And in 2015, we had a 25-year reunion.
For what we called a reanimation in Atlanta, which is right down the street from here, a place called Aisle 5.
And we got one day of rehearsal in with about half of us who were available.
We were able to get, I think there were 11 people who had been in the band at some point. They all came from all over the country. We all got on stage.
They keep on
And then we played a show at Aisle 5 in Little Five Points, and everybody on stage.
And it was like we never stopped. It was like we'd been playing for the last 20 years.
It was absolutely magical. I've never felt like I felt that night playing music.
And we raised some money for a charity, and we said, we should probably keep on doing this, and maybe write some more music.
Playing the Several Dudes music again after so many years, 20 something years for me. This is music that we wrote, in these formative, fun years of our lives, and it was. I can't even describe the feeling of playing with the guys again, and we had so much fun that night. It sounded surprisingly good,
And we thought we were onto something, and kept going.
Dude, it's Nas. Get off your computer, grab your bass. We're getting the band together.
There's no such thing as time when you're living free. There's no such thing as loneliness when you're singing with me. Life is sweet like peaches, getting by on goodwill. And when we play our songs, it feels like time stands still. Having the time of a lifetime, like back in the day. You're gonna find in the meantime, like back in the like we're doing here today.
About 2 years ago, I got a call from an old friend of mine who I played in a fusion band with back in Binghamton, New York. And we had just recently reconnected, and he knew Devin. He actually had played at Devin's wedding. And he gave me a call and said, hey, these guys are looking for a sax player. So at the time I was living in Flagstaff, Arizona, drove down to Scottsdale, and met everybody, rehearsed, played a gig that night, played a gig the next day, and they were so welcoming and fun to play with. The music is great. I hope it goes on for a long time after that.
This next song was the first song we had on the radio, 96 Rock, Atlanta. Savannah mornings lift my heart with the sun. Another fine day on the Georgia coast.
We're in Atlanta. We're very excited to be in Atlanta. We're playing a concert to raise money for charity for one of the local cycling organizations, and we haven't gigged in Atlanta in quite a long time, and this is where we started, so it's like a homecoming. Okay, Mama knows how to grind we got. They got me rocking and shaking. I'm really going out of my mind. Now I'm percolating, percolate. Mama knows how to grind. Mama knows how to grind. Okay.
Yeah, get Andy too. Get Andy in.
Okay, take a step back. Slow down, take it in time. Take a step back, it'll be alright.
Give me a second, because I've sung different things.
Yeah.
Now, so take a step back.
Take a step back.
I didn't get to that one. Take a step back is... Wait a minute, let me guess. An A.
Hey, yes. Okay.
Because I used to go, take a step
That's what
back.
he's
I used to
doing.
go high. Take a step
That's what he's
Okay.
doing. What's happening was you guys were not.
Take a step back. Yeah, doing falsetto.
Okay.
So we'll need to listen to that later because you're doing a bunch of things different than
Yeah.
we did on the album.
Yeah.
Some things that you'd had in the recording but then you changed. Like
Yeah.
some of you are going.
Right.
That's not the way we play it.
I know. But I think the last time we played it,
But
We said we were gonna
we
do
just
that.
need to agree. We just got to do it the same way,
Yeah.
whichever way. But
I was gonna do it just to fill it.
it's cool. It sounds really good, but it's not the way it is on the recording.
No, it's not.
So we just need to decide if we're doing it that way or not.
Okay. Am I the only one moving stuff? Damn it, help me.
Oh yeah. Sorry. What do I move it? Just stuff right here?
All right, you guys ready to get back at it? Blue Oyster Cult was in town and blew out the Eastern last night.
That's right.
And it just so happens that the co-founder of Blue Oyster Cult, Buck Dharma, is an honorary dude. He graciously sent in wrote a wicked guitar solo for one of our songs. Unbelievable. He's been an unbelievable supporter of us hobbyists. Has helped us raise a bunch of money and just been a lot of fun to have as a part of the band. So he's agreed to come up and play a couple songs with us. Give it up for Buck Dharma.
Rock and roll royalty. Buck Dharma was there with his wife and cousin, and he was kind enough to come up on stage and play with us, and that was a real lifetime, highlight treat for me. And to see him jamming right next to me, doing stage dives and everything.
Of course, it's always great having Buck join us. That's the third time I've played with 3 different states. He is just a super nice and generous guy, and just, I think, loves music so much that he's willing to come play with us, and told me afterwards, a lot of fun being a dude.
That just happened. You guys got a lot more than you bargained for tonight, you know?
Okay, guys, we really appreciate you coming out. You know that feeling when you lost someone close to you, or family, or a friend? You know, that gut punch you get? Well, we got that when we lost Nick, and we wrote this song for him. It's called Our Brother Nick. And if you got a drink, have it handy. We're going to be raising a glass, all right?
And then in 2018,
Nick, who was an avid cyclist, was hit by a car and passed. So that was a big hit to everybody. Still is a big hit to everybody.
If you knew Nick, he was such a magical human. I mean, he was, your belly would be sore every time you'd leave his presence because he'd just keep you in stitches. He just had a great way of looking at life and finding humor in the everyday. And so the idea that somebody that full of life could be gone was absolutely devastating.
we were all, of course, in shock, and I think it took a while for us to all gather ourselves, and we figured, I think initially we all thought that we were done, several dudes was no more, because Nick was a real driving force of the band. He wrote a lot of the music and just an incredible guitar player, just an incredible human being, made all of us better. And so after a while, though, I think we all reached the same conclusion, and that was, you know what?
What would Nick want? And Nick would want the music to continue, and he was an avid cyclist, so it made perfect sense that the music continue in a way that would pay homage to his passion, which was music and cycling and family, and so that's what we did, and it's worked out.
He would want us to keep on playing, and he'd want us to keep on doing what we wanted to do, which is write new music, raise money for charity, and make the most of our time on this planet.
Our brother Nick, he had a way with words. He would talk us down from any heights. Our brother Nick, he had a way with words. He would lift us up and make it right. He would lead us back to the music. He'd jam all night with arms wide open. Let's raise a toast to more than a memory.
We've raised for our cycling safety advocacy fund. We've already raised over 30,000. Our initial goal is 100, and we have raised money for a whole bunch of other charities as well. Next month when we play in Asheville, we're raising money for Asheville on Bikes.
So we're looking at festivals and working with local cover bands and local charities, again, to get out good music, get it heard, and raise money mostly for cycling safety because of what happened to Nick.
Is there any better feeling in the world than playing music with dudes that you love and that you share so much rich history with? It still amazes me.
Got a lot of songs to play. Got a lot of good things to say. Got a lot of songs to play. Got a lot of good things to say. Got a lot of songs left to play. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Got a lot of good things to say. Got a lot of good things to say.